Welcome to what I called the best day for love. It's actually the sexiest day of the week, but not for reasons that you think of. Venus, no, she's in Aries, and she's also square the moon and retrograde, so we got to go someplace else for it. Today, we're going to talk about water signs. We're going to talk about what those water signs mean, and we're also going to talk about the day's astrology in context with the day's astrology, because this is going to be a very bold day. This is a day where we feel like declaring something. Welcome to daily-astrocat.com. Speaking of declarations, that's what I'm declaring. This is daily-astrocat.com, your daily digest of all things astrological. We do this with style, with a bell. Then we take and we throw some, maybe throw a couple chimes in there. Throw a purr in there. Get you ready for the show, right? Hope you stay with me for the full report, because it's going to be good. And there's our Bella. Today is Saturday, and it is the 8th of March. I made you wait for this one, didn't I? The reason why you're waiting is because I have a couple different ideas that I had, and I had some ideas last night as well. Didn't really execute them that well. However, working on it, because we do have a lot of action coming up in the upcoming week, and you really have to be aware of it. We've got a retrograde happening. We've got an eclipse happening. So those two things alone are a big deal. But let's talk about this week, because the moon's going to be in Cancer all day long. Don't know why I'm not wearing a white shirt or something like that, but our color is white hot metal, just so you know. I threw that in there early. Curveball. Wow. All right. So today's kind of like a mini go day. And that's because we have the sun actually trine Mars. Now, the sun's in Pisces and Mars is in Cancer. Now, the sun and Mars have a definite energy there, right? There's because they kind of, if you think about it, first house matters. Mars is the ruler of the first house. The first house is Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. So first house matters are a lot of solar topics, right? I mean, when you're talking about the first house, we're talking about who we are, what we represent, the ego, everything like that, right? It's us. It's where we're at in relation to the rest of the zodiac. It's the most personal thing. Now, the fifth house, which is where the sun is at, actually has a lot of Mars things to it, which is kind of interesting, because a lot of times Mars is called the child of the zodiac, right? It's the house of children. It's a house of creativity. It's a house of initiative. It's an intelligent place, right? We know that Mars represents all those things. We hate to put it this way. We hate to admit that Mars represents all those things. And, that those Aries people strutting around are strutting around because they think they're better than everyone else. Not necessarily so. However, they do have a purpose, and they do know where they're going, and they do have meaning. Now, let's talk about this, because Aries, with that fiery energy and that drive, that is all about drive, right? Mars is also the co-ruler, or ruler, the ancient ruler of Scorpio. And that is the sign of sexual drive and ambition. Well, it only follows naturally that the other water signs are also little permutations of that drive and that sexuality. Not so much in the literal sense of Scorpio, but yeah, you're going to have that in Pisces. You're going to find that in Cancer as well. Just as all the signs can be sexy, and all the signs can, have their own distinct styles when it comes to expressing this kind of passion and affection and just joie de vivre, right? The love of life. This is where we're talking about water signs, because all these water signs have this in common. They have that intuitive and emotional feeling, right? It's this connection that we have to how we feel, what our emotions are. Now, the moon is the ruler of Cancer, and Mars is in Cancer. So Mars has been going through quite a bit of changes, because the moon's going bup, 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 bup. When the moon arrives at the spot where Mars is at in Cancer, she can take some of Mars' energy and bring that around with her to the rest of the zodiac. Right now, she's carrying that the full moon energy that was in Pisces around with her. She's carrying around that intuition. She's carrying around those feelings. She's carrying around those emotions, right? To some extent, it's either delusion or just blind passion, extreme passion for what we do. We do have a passion for what we do here, and I have a passion for what I do, and I certainly hope you found one too. Now, Because of the pending Mercury retrograde, we got to be very careful today, though, because we're in that shadow period. I'm going to go through and make a video on this because I feel like I'm talking about something here that I really just need to have a clear-cut diagram for and then bring it out to you. I had somebody say to me, why do you use that microphone? I love the way this microphone sounds. Until I find a way to replace it, I'm going to keep on using it. But now, let's talk about, I just happened to see myself with the microphone, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. So, look, we can really advance our agenda today with a few specific and concrete things. And it's going to be a thing for later on tonight, right? We've got love on our side. Love, passion. Love, not so much, but that passion and that emotional love and everything like that. It's more than Venus, okay? I mean, Venus is that love, but it's also art, creativity, beauty, love of life. Maybe we're not in the mood to just, lay it all out there with candlelight and, however many courses, dinners, you would serve at home to feel ultra romantic or special. However, what we do have is we have the Mars and the Sun in a passionate place, in an emotional place, in a place where the expression of this is much more direct and much hotter, for lack of a better word, because both the Sun and Mars are fire signs, right? Put that fire in water. It's steamy. You could really have a steamy day today, right? That steamy trine between Mars and the Sun. So, look, we could expand our offerings, okay? We could expand now. We could try to take advantage of that steamy trine. But what happens is that we have to make sure it doesn't detract from what we're currently working on, okay? We have to make sure that it doesn't mess with what we've got happening, either relationship-wise or project-wise or side hustle-wise or even career-wise if you're in that career thing. It's Saturday here, so not really talking about career thing. I'm working on a different kind of career. I'm working on this right here. We had a great week last week, and I'm trying to recapture that and put lightning in a bottle and do it all over again starting next week. Get everything up to where it should be and just accelerate our momentum forward, my momentum forward here. It's your momentum too, because you listen to the channel and I like having you here. Thank you so much for being here. Now, we're very comfortable today about who we are. Creatives, artists, people. Yeah. We're talking honestly about emotions, about the sexuality and sensuality of the water signs, right? How this is just a very nice thing, and how it isn't always about Venus. Sometimes it's that steam, it's that fire, it's what catches hold. We're talking very honestly here about that, and that's how we should be feeling. We're very comfortable with that. We're very comfortable with who we are, because Sun and Mars trine, that's that comfortable, right? That's those two ego things just coming together and like, I am. And that's today's keyword. I am. I am me. Now, look, I told you the color was already white hot metal. And look, declare who you are and what you represent today. I'm an astrologer. That's what I am. I'm a producer. I do this stuff. A musician. I do that as well. Not as much as I'd like to, but what are you? Make your declarations. Make a declaration down below. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see who you are and get to know the people who listen to me a lot better. And I do appreciate that. Every time I get a note, man, I am like over the moon. I love it. So, don't be shy. Tell me who you are. Now, listen, this is a small step, okay, and by declaring who you are and what you're doing, but it's going to go far. Because that way we help to recognize what, who and what we are, because that's really important for the eclipse coming up. Right, because even though it's a culmination, it's the beginning of the nodal cycle. So we're going to know where our baseline is, who we are. We're going to reset that, right? By declaring who we are right now, we set what our expectation is going to be for the next 18 years. expectations of ourselves as we go through it and we move to who we eventually want to be and what we want to accomplish in a grander sense, right? We're talking legacy here. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about what do we leave here? What do we leave behind? Right? Simple. Honest, right? Told you we were going to have honest and comfortable conversations today. And that's what we're having. Now, it can't be a complete overhaul because that's not the path we're on, okay? We were on a path where we were refining something that we were doing. We're taking that, we're refining it and moving forward with it. Everyone, okay, and we set an intention last fall. We set intentions all throughout the eclipse cycles. The last Aries cycle is kind of like that culmination of, aha, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to move forward. Now we're going to be doing a variation on the theme of that, right? We have to get rid of the barriers that were there. We did last fall, but now we have to make sure they're totally gone, and we've made note of it, and we're going to be able to do it in a very creative way. Everyone has latent creative talent, and today is a good day for you to discover yours and to start advancing in that direction. I think that would be very nice. Now, intuitively, this is all going to make sense, okay? Just don't listen to my words, let them sink in. Don't try to listen too hard. The time to move is today because Mars knows this. Okay, Mars is still at 17 degrees Cancer. And I told you that was the seedling point of germination on the Sabian symbols. That was the seedling coming up in the cup, right? Here today, we're going to start growing our idealings. And you're going to work on this stuff all night long. We're going to have a chance, okay? Get the word out there. The clocks change. Yes, they do in the United States. They change. So you're going to get a lot of, they spring ahead, right? You get an extra hour. Okay, so that's what we got for you. Now, our event is in 1934. Edwin Hubble, he takes photos that show as many galaxies as the Milky Way has stars. He was the first guy to discover those galaxies out there and be able to use the telescope imagery and photography in a way to prove that there's more galaxies out there than the one we're in. There's tons of them, right? And our birth is Ina Boyle. She's born in 1899, an Irish composer. She did Glencree and the Magic Harp. And she's born in Bushy Park, County Wicklow in Ireland. And she died in 1967. And that's all I have for you, okay? A female composer and Mr. Hubble. Not the telescope, but the actual astronomer. And that's what I got for you. So thank you so much for joining me. I love each and every single one of you. I do. And, you know, I want to hear what it is that what you're passionate about. What's your creative passion? What's your latent creativity? Put it down below. Like I said, the color is white hot metal. Let's get passionate about stuff, folks, okay? That Mars Sun Trine, right? Okay, get passionate. Today is an 8. It's a good one, right? Happy. Oh, keyword is I am. I'm happy. I'm happy because it's an 8. And I'm Shane. Thank you so much for listening. Happy astrocatting.